All right, I'm gonna call. Great, thank you. Hang on, okay.
You're muted too, Lynn. I got muted. Now you're muted.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
think we
sorry
got a
about
gremlin in this meeting somewhere.
that. All right, let's,
Jeff's muted, but that may be on purpose.
okay, here we go again. So we're gonna call the regular meeting to order. We already did at 7:02, and for the record, show that regular members Ken Johnson, Ken Dietz, Paul Yeagood, myself, Marge Smith are here, and we also have Jeff Galusha. Is that it for the commission? Yeah, I think it is. And we've got our land use administrator, Ty Kern, and our land use assistant, Donna Hayes, here, as well as applicants and guests. Oh yeah, okay, good. Okay, so we have one thing to add to the agenda, I believe, and that is 5B, application 1354. Roland and Betsy, is it Levesque? Levesque?
Levesque.
Thank you. So we need a motion to add that to the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention. Okay, great. So did everybody have a chance to read the minutes of the last meeting? Which I thought were beautifully done. Wow, and I did not really see any typos or issues. Did anybody else? Marge?
Well, I wasn't at the meeting, so I don't know whether anything is accurate or not, but no, I didn't see any typos or things like that, so.
Thank you. And
My
Ken,
name was spelled wrong someplace, but
Uh-oh.
your name was?
let's see, on page 2, about three quarters of the way down on the right-hand side, you have Mr. Johansen.
Oh,
Ja, kommer till svenska.
so that's
Well,
under
we're making a
4B.
Scandinavian out of you. I'm just a user, so.
But again, we won't discuss of what. All right, so Ty, that's under 4B, 1, 2, third line down at the very end of the line.
Okay, we'll make
All
sure.
right. Thank you for catching that. Anything else? Okay. If you've all had a chance to read them and there are no other corrections, we can take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Marge and Ken Johnson. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you. Okay. So we're gonna move on. We have no old business still. Is that right, Ty?
That's right.
Okay. We were very efficient, apparently. Okay. So we have new business. First application up is application 135320-24, and that's Matt Starr. And that's an after the fact removal. And Ty, you might want to start us out by just kind of generally describing what's going on. By the way, when I went into the computer files, I only saw one page of your report. Was it just a one-page report?
No,
Yeah.
There's
It kept saying there's an error. So I couldn't get to page
Okay.
2.
Okay, all right.
I got it all.
You got it all?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Oh, well, I could summarize it for you if
Thank
you'd like.
you.
So I
Thank
wasn't
you.
here when the application came in, so I didn't get a chance to speak with Mr. Starr about it. But it's my understanding that the after the fact portion is with regard to an above ground pool. So in going through the file, it looks like 2 permits were issued for above ground pools at one time or another. And I think that he must have taken them down, or one down and then another down without like a demo permit for it. So that must be the after the fact portion. And then, going forward, he would like an in-ground pool, surround everything that, fence, all of that within the regulated area. So, I did a quick staff review, just kind of going through the requirements, and I noticed that, the construction sequence, the stockpile area, and the drainage details weren't necessarily all on the plan that was submitted. Also, the plan that was submitted wasn't an engineered plan. It's written on it was an old, from the original subdivision, I think, map that was done by Hawk and Howland. It's more of a sketch that was submitted. And when I pulled the file, there's a lot going on this property. It seems like there's been quite a history with wetlands issues on the property. So I didn't get a chance to go through all the details, but I would imagine that you guys probably lived through a lot of them. So there's been numerous, issues with violations, not necessarily by the property owner, but I think that there was some issues with the town and the road and wetlands. It seems like there's a consistent water issue on the property.
Okay.
So
So you haven't
anyways,
been out to the site, you haven't been able to see this proposal?
no, I have not. I mean, I've been out on that road for other reasons, so I'm familiar with the property. But no, I didn't go out there specifically for this.
So would you be able to do that before the next meeting? Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah. Okay, I don't know that an engineered site plan is necessary for most homeowners, but I would like to ask Matt or his representative. Now, Matt was here, right?
I am here,
Oh, there you are.
Still is.
Gotcha. Hi,
and
Matt.
I'm my representative.
You're your representative. So maybe you could just walk the commission through, as I understand it, the after the fact is for the demolition of the above ground pool. Is that right?
No, as I explained to Donna when I went in, the above ground pool side ruptured and the pool collapsed.
Oh.
So it was down, it was a hazard, so we disassembled it.
Oh,
It's all
okay.
just screws and bolts, disassembled it, hand loaded into a trailer and moved it off the sand pad where it was. The deck is all still there. This says the deck was removed. The deck has not been removed. It's still there.
Okay. So would want to correct the application for removal of the deck. Okay.
No, I think the application's correct. I put
Oh.
on the application to remove the deck.
Oh, wow. Hang
Yep.
on. Oh, I see it. Okay. And then can we maybe pull up the site plan and just let Matt walk us through what he wants to do? Ty, can you do that?
I can.
The
do it.
map?
Yeah, just give me a.
Thank you. And let's just start out by identifying the flagged wetlands, which I think are the blue lines, right, Matt?
That is correct. Yep.
And so everything to the way I'm looking at it on my screen, everything to the right or I guess that's north.
To the right and to the left.
Okay. And
And
okay, so go ahead.
yeah, and if I can just explain where it shows 14 by 30 pool, that's pretty much where the above ground deck is right now. The 30-foot round pool was below that, closer to the back of the property, closer to the wetlands. And that was removed. There's still a pump there on a pad that has not yet been removed, nor the underground service.
So your plan is to remove that?
Yeah, as the new plan shows, the pump and the filter would be up by the garage.
Which is, oh God. Right there, okay.
Yeah,
Straight
whoever's
down.
got the cursor, you're right on it.
Okay,
So really, I mean, you can't really tell the landscape of the property, but we dug out when we put the pool in to make a flat area. And so then the pool deck is up above that. So pretty much we'd be refilling that back area behind this proposed pool and around the sides.
What is it right now? Because there's no topography on here. Is
Yeah.
it,
There is some,
okay? Oh, I see. I
Yeah,
see.
there's- yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you look, the primary galleys on top is 480. Down to the lower part, near where the pipe would discharge for the drain is 467. Um, listen, it's kind of a natural sloping it back to kind of how it was, but, one end would be a deeper end. We're not sure the exact depth yet. We wanted to get the permits secured first before we actually ordered the pool.
So the discharge for backwash, that kind of thing.
No,
Is-
it's no, with a fiberglass in-ground pool, there just has to be a drain in case there's pressure from water under the pool
Uh-huh.
so it can discharge,
Oh, I see.
not to drain the pool.
Is the bottom level of the pool higher than the level of the wetlands?
Yes.
By about how much,
Um
roughly?
Depending where on the wetlands, I mean, this 467 on the side isn't the lowest point, but it's probably 2 to 3 feet the bottom of the pool above that,
Okay,
just on
just
that
so you
one.
don't have a boat in the backyard if it rains too hard.
No, and that's why we wanted to move it in closer, rather than out, put it out farther. The red line shows the area of disturbance. The yellow lines show where there would be silt fencing to protect the wetlands during the construction phase. As you see, the red line comes all the way out. Don asked me to extend that because I'd have to have material brought in, stone for under and beside the pool. They're backfilled with crushed stone, clean crushed stone. So they'd have to back alongside the garage where there is a gravel and stone parking area there. So they would just back in alongside and bring it in.
And where is the, I'm sorry, where's the excavation material gonna go?
All the material that's there is going to stay on site, Lynn. We actually need to bring in material to do the slopes away from the pool out to grade.
Okay. Including the material you excavate?
Yeah, well, for the most part, there's, because the backside of the pool's already been excavated out. That's why we have to add material back in. When we did the above ground pool, we dug that out to put the deck there. And so when you walked onto the deck, the pool was below the deck.
Yeah.
And you guys should have that on file, a very similar drawing showing the old pool and the deck.
Okay. So you're about how far away? You're within the regulated area. I'm trying to read this and
I
color.
believe it's 27 and 40 from the wetlands, are the two corners in question.
Okay, so I think it's important to either for all of us, but certainly for Ty to go out and see this. And there's some additional information that she was asking for in her staff report.
I'm
Correct?
sorry, I didn't see that. What was that?
So it was a construction sequence, stockpile area and, details regarding the drainage.
Okay. So I guess the question right now is for the rest of the commission, in terms of if you have additional questions about this proposal. And I know that we don't have all the information we need, but we will by the next meeting. In the meantime, are there other questions that you would like Jeff to answer now or to get additional
Yes.
information?
Has Torrington Area Health District signed off on this? I noticed there's a reduction in the reserve area for the septic.
Yes, she did. She actually reviewed it and she said with the new, not that she's concerned that I need it, but should I need it, she said with the technology advancements since the original septic, that the 60 would be adequate.
Okay, because I don't think we would be able to act if we didn't have the approval there.
Yeah.
You guys should have the approval.
I don't have it yet, but I'll check with Kathy when she's in the office tomorrow.
Okay. Any other questions for Matt?
Looks like the area disturbance off to the right of the driveway extends out beyond the silt fence between it and the wetland. Don't know if that's
Can I answer that, Lynn?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, when I came in to deliver the maps and the application, Donna reviewed it and asked me where the vehicles would be coming in to deliver the material, pool, and stone and the fill material. And I showed her and she said that I recommended that I extend that out by the garage like that as part of the area disturbance.
okay. So that's really just a traversed area, not
Yeah, it's a pretty flat area, and really, I originally had it back by where, similar to the other side.
Right.
There's no construction or anything going on out there other than the one narrow line for the underground piping and to go to the pool pump.
okay.
All right. Any other questions? Jeff Galusha, Ken Johnson, Mark
I,
Smith?
I just have to confess, this is my first pool meeting with the wetlands, so I'm trying to think to myself, other than the equipment and the digging and that sort of stuff, is there anything that a pool that we need to keep in mind with about a pool? And I can't think of anything. It's going to stay full. It's an in-ground, so it's going to be filled. At certain times, there's going to be backwash. At certain times, there's going to be rain. So much rain that it has to be drained a little bit. But other than, we're really talking about this in the nature of potential damage or risk to the wetlands is the site work. Do I have that right?
Site work, and some would argue that increasing, what do you call it? Impervious surfaces can just kind of lead to additional runoff, which leads to the kind of flooding that we saw south of us this weekend. But there's no good information, really good information about pools, and there's no way to judge an individual pool. It's more of a collective impact. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, I grew up with a pool, so I know that
Yeah.
when we got crazy storms, the pool would take 6 inches of water without overflowing, and then you could slowly drain it down. So that's all. That was my only question. I think everything else looks just fine.
So I guess the question is, where is that water going to go? That chlorinated water.
Correct, but the interesting thing about it is it's a finite amount.
Right.
It's not like the storms we had last week that dropped 8 inches everywhere. This would be a rare surplus of water that has to trickle out.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me.
Jeff,
So
one of the things, sorry,
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
the actual impervious area is being reduced almost in half.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because there was a 30-foot round pool, all that square footage and
Yeah.
a deck. So it's going to be greatly reduced. And
Yeah,
that's all gonna be, grass, stabilized landscape, so,
I,
it should
I
have
mean, I
very
would,
little effect.
yeah.
And,
I would,
and
I
I
wasn't
would
gallons of
raising it.
water, it's a
I-
smaller volume of water in this pool than it was in the old.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't raising it, Matt, as a problem here particularly. I was just answering the question by Jeff of other things that people sometimes think about, but I wasn't raising it as an issue for this application.
Okay.
Just so you know. I am
Yeah.
curious about where the water will go, as it's discharging out, because you are close to the wetland. So it'd be interesting, Ty, when you're there, to kind of get a feel for that and the distance and what vegetation, if any, is in between, leading up toward that wetland area.
but I think that water amount is gonna be inconsequential, and it's 14 by 30 is what comes off the backside of my roof on my house.
Right. It's just that it's chlorinated. It may have other
Sure.
chemicals in it. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not the amount, it's what's in it. It's just making sure that it's got, a long enough run to kind of clean itself through the soil.
Sure.
Yeah. Because it's pretty close, that's all. Any other questions? So, Matt, it sounds like, generally speaking, we have some questions that can be readily answered by Ty when she goes out for a visit. Doesn't sound like anybody's particularly concerned here.
Okay.
So if we can just get that information in for the next meeting, we'll be able to act on this in the next regular wetlands meeting.
Okay, yeah, I apologize. I didn't realize I needed that information was requested, so I would have
don't
had
know
it, I would have had it prepared for you.
Yeah, I don't know if, I don't think Ty actually had a chance to reach out to you. She just got back from vacation and saw the application, so,
Yeah,
And
no,
even if you
I
had
rushed to
everything-
do it today.
yeah,
Okay.
Even if you had everything tonight, we couldn't vote on it tonight anyway. We'd still
That's
have to wait
true.
till the next meeting. So it's not happening any slower as a result of that. So
that's true. Thank you, Ken.
Lynn, can I start disassembling the deck and removing that? I mean, it's a pretty big and tedious process. It's mostly pressure treated and composite decking that's been there 24, 25 years.
Ty, is the reason that demolition requires a permit is because it's within the regulated area, right? That's it?
I mean, usually it's a building thing, and if there's any disturbance within the regulated area, it would require, a wetlands permit. So, I mean, in this case, I don't know if there's any digging or anything like that that's occurring, or is it just,
Well, most of it is above ground, other than I think there's 10 6x6 posts in the ground that would
I can
have to be
take those out?
will have to be removed. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, any digging or disturbance within a regulated area does require a permit. It could be an agent permit, but that's not at this point in the game, that's not going to move things along any quicker. But it does also require a building demo permit as well.
How about if he takes anything above ground
Yeah,
That's
out
what I would, yeah,
and
That
leave
makes
the
sense.
posts
Yep.
until he's ready, until everything's approved?
that's what I was
absolutely.
Okay.
gonna suggest,
Yep.
yeah.
Thanks, Paul. That's a good idea.
Good idea. Yep. So he could do that without a permit, right, Ty?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
If there's no disturbance.
Okay. Does that help, Matt?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions while we have Matt here?
Ty, if you could just give me notice. So I have two large dogs that are very protective of the backyard. I just
Absolutely.
want to make sure I can get home and put them
Yep.
away.
I'm sure the baby,
I'll reach out to you tomorrow and we'll coordinate. A
All
good
right.
day.
Thanks so much.
That's great. Okay, so Matt, thank you very much for being here tonight and walking us through this. And we're going to take a motion to table this application to the next regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to table application 1353-24 to the next regular meeting.
Thank you, Paul. Do we have a second?
Second,
Thank you, Marge. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I,
Opposed or abstention? Okay. You're good to go, Matt. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
All right. Okay, so we can take this down. Ty.
Okay, hold on.
And all right. And we're gonna move on to the add-on for tonight, which is application 1354-24, Roland and Betsy Levesque. And Ty, do you want to just kind of fill us in? I have not.
Yeah.
seen- Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
so I mean, again, this was a very, I didn't even get to do a staff review on this one because this one came later than the other one. And I was just going in order, but I am very familiar with the property. They put a barn on it just last year with the intention of eventually splitting it and putting a house on as well. So it really, it's a formality to split it again. It becomes a subdivision just by statute. But it's basically, that's why it's before you. It's because it's a subdivision by statute and there's wetlands on the property that's being split. So there's really no proposal of any work within a regulated area. It's just, you're reviewing it with your subdivision eyes on it. And I really don't see any concerns. I went through the requirements quickly, just the checklist of what's required for a subdivision. And this is really written for a real big subdivision, where you'd have roads and drainage and all of that. So most of the stuff doesn't even apply. You couldn't possibly make it apply to something like this. So, the stuff that would apply does seem to be in place here on this plan.
Okay.
So I think Gary Hack is here as well. He's the one who put the plan together. So I'm sure he's here to answer questions. As well as Roland.
Do we want to look at this map and just have it in front of us? And you don't see any issues, so I just like to make sure that we're all looking at the same thing.
Yep.
At the same time.
Where is the subdivision?
I'm sorry, what, Ken?
Where is the subdivision?
Um,
Area?
what's the road?
It's
Off
on Bulls Bridge Road.
Bulls Bridge Road.
There's Northwest Conservation kind of abuts this property. And like I said, I think that they had been before you regarding a barn that was put up in the back and a little access way to that barn had crossed the wetlands about a year ago, maybe. Or
Oh, yeah, I vaguely
more.
remember. Yep.
And so the new lot would be lot 2, and
One.
there's access. Do they have to cross a wetland? No.
They already have that right of way to
Yeah.
access through for the barn. But then they also have access out this way to the road as required by subdivision regulations for planning and zoning.
And is
So,
that just like a little brook that it's crossing, or?
yeah, it's wetlands. I think it's like I've been out there a bunch of times. Sometimes I, saw a little bit of standing water over there, but it wasn't like a running
Yeah.
water course.
And they're not asking for access right now. They have 2 different ways of getting to the property, right?
That's right. And one
Okay.
is already being, they did get that approval to go this way when the barn was put in.
Ken, were you talking? I'm sorry. Ken Dietz?
No,
Okay.
Is that
Okay.
gravel drive already in place?
Yes.
Hi, it's Gary. I was going to address the wetlands. The soil scientist did a report in 2022 November, and he labeled it as a man-made ditch, and it's just standing water. It doesn't have enough flow to go over unless it's a rain event.
Mm-hmm. So something to think about in terms
Yep.
of rain events. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, but that's not the request right now. We're not looking at a proposed driveway or anything. We're just looking at a straightforward subdivision. And the idea, the question for access and driveway and all that would come before us at a later date. Right?
That's right. If they're proposing anything within the regulated area, then it would have to come back to you for approval when it's time for that. But right now, it's all about just splitting this lot into
Yeah.
a lot.
And we're not approving a proposed house lot or anything.
I
Right.
mean, you're looking at, I mean, this is kind of like the feasibility plan that you
Right,
would see with most subdivisions. So this is kind of the idea of where the house is gonna go and the test pits and the well and all of those things,
but we're not approving the house or the, any of,
No,
it's just demonstrating that it could occur, that it could hold a house, right?
feasible, absolutely.
All right. Okay. Questions from the commission? For either Gary or Roland?
No.
Okay. Well, again, we would act at the next regular meeting. Looks like the commission has no questions. It feels very straightforward, seems to be meeting all of the regulations according to what we're looking at in and according to Ty. So looks like we'd be able to act at the next regular meeting, in September. And, if anything changes, let us know.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we just need a motion to table this application to the next regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to table application 1354-24 to the next regular meeting.
Thank you. And Ken Johnson, was that a second?
Yep, that's a second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed or abstention? Okay, great. Thank you very much, Gary, and thank you very much, Roland. All right,
Thanks, Lynn. I'll see you in September.
okay.
Thank you.
See you in September. Any communications to the commission, written or verbal?
So I just slipped into your online package, the Housatonic Wild and Scenic River Celebration.
Oh, yeah.
So there's just a flyer that came to me about that. It's September 7th between 1 and 4, Housatonic Meadows State Park. So it's there for you guys if you want.
Yeah, I hope people will come. It's just a celebration. The Wild and Scenic designation was made in the waning days of the legislative session in 2023, December. I'm trying to remember, 2022, I think. And it's been a 40-year journey. So the Housatonic River Commission and the Housatonic Valley Association are proud and happy, and we're going to be hopefully serving up ice cream, music, and some gratitude that day. And everybody's welcome. It's free and just fun. So I hope you'll come. Thanks for
So
sharing that.
what is the wild and scenic designation do for it?
So it's a federal designation, all right? So essentially, it makes all federal decision-making or permits, projects that require federal permits, have to go through kind of the wild and scenic test. So the values that qualified the river for wild and scenic status are values that the towns along the banks of the river and the state of Connecticut and many organizations over the years have wanted to celebrate and protect. So it just means that it adds an added level of protection for those values. So if there were to be a proposal along the banks of the river that requires federal review, the feds would double check it against those values and make sure that the project wasn't diminishing those values in any way. So it's about adding some protection to what makes the river so special right now. But in addition, and this is a big deal, it comes with a little bit of money, not a huge amount of money, but it comes with a little bit of money that will help the towns better manage the river. And I don't know if you remember 2020 on the Housatonic River and 2021, but it was a circus, and a dangerous circus in terms of people really wanting to get outside. COVID had
Mhm.
pushed people to their limits, and we had, and still do have, sites along the river that get way too many people, that don't have any facilities for people, and don't have any resources to help them enjoy the river safely, from parking all the way to, being on the banks of the river. So this federal funding will flow through the Housatonic River Commission, And it will be available for towns to better manage the river. And that could range from better parking to garbage pickup to who knows. Right now, the River Commission is working with partners like HVA to try to identify the major issues and kind of lay out a plan, and that'll be the next step. And in that planning process, that there should be a lot of opportunity for people to be involved and talk about what they're concerned about and help create solutions so that the river that we know and love will be the river we know and love 100 years from now, you know? So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, good work.
You know, it's funny. I started my career at HVA working on Wild and Scenic 42 years
Wow.
ago.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It really is cool.
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
is good. It's great for the river and it's great
Celebrate.
for all the people that
Yeah.
help make it happen. It's just, it's all good. It's all good. So,
Congratulations.
yeah. So I hope you come, have some ice cream on us and
I have
listen to some music.
and
Yeah.
I've got a memorial service I've got to go to, but if that gets over in time, I will definitely come.
I
out.
hope you will.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you have to go to a
What
memorial.
is the
but-
details, excuse me, what is the details again on the meeting? On this celebration?
It's 1 to 4, Housatonic Meadows, September 7th. I think we're gonna have some official thank yous, to all the different groups that helped and all the elected officials that helped. And that'll probably be somewhere around 2:33. But the idea is really just to have some fun.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Sounds like fun.
Come, Ken.
Okay, I'll be there.
All right. Okay, is there anything else to come before the commission?
You're all done.
You guys, it's 7:39. Good job.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Any other discussion? Without hearing any, then we can take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
moved.
adjourn.
Okay, Jeff moved, Ken seconded, or Ken moved, Jeff seconded, one or the other.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, I actually might be an alternate tonight, so mine doesn't count yet.
Oh, it counts.
Okay,
You can move. It's all right. I think,
Yeah.
right, Ty?
And we have a second.
Well, I'll third it just in case.
Very good.
there we
Thank you.
go. Thanks, Marge.
Thanks, Marge.
I'm
All
glad we
right,
got
thanks,
that
you
covered.
guys.
We got it covered. See you guys next time.
Okay,
Have a
thanks,
good night.
everybody.
Thank you.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Welcome back, Ty.
Good night, all.
You. Good night.
Bye.